So a lot to talk about. Let's go to Washington, D.C., where NewsNation's Tom Dempsey is standing by live with the very latest, including some of these new developments on Russia, trade, and the Middle East. Tom?
Hey, Marni, good morning from the White House. Yeah, look, I think that press conference totaled at least 75 minutes, so there was a lot covered during all of this. And some of the bigger points, like you said, Gaza, Russia, and trade deals, three of the bigger points that came up during all that. So let's walk our viewers through all this. Gaza right now, just a dire situation for the people who are there. And to that point, Israel recently announced a pause in fighting in parts of Gaza to allow more humanitarian aid. And this has been a very big push for President Donald Trump recently. And he spoke about that during this press conference, talking about how the United States and other countries are working on opening up food centers for the people of Gaza to get the help they so desperately need right now. And to put that in perspective for our viewers at home, the United Nations World Food Program recently estimated that around 500,000 people in Gaza right now are facing near famine-like conditions. And there's been lots of images, videos, and pictures coming out showing just the dire situation in Gaza right now. So both leaders, President Trump and Prime Minister Keir Starmer, both saying this meeting today in Scotland, one of the top things on the agenda was this situation in Gaza. But also, moving on to point number 2 here, Russia. Obviously, inside the White House, there has been a lot of frustration, very much so, with President Donald Trump and his team, with this war very much dragging on in Europe. And today, the big development to come down is that President Trump saying he's going to give Russian leader Vladimir Putin 10 to 12 more days to try and reach some sort of ceasefire with Ukraine to bring the war to an end in Europe. And for our viewers at home, to sort of give a refresher about this threat, the 10 to 12 day deadline, what that applies to, it would be in the form of 100% tariffs, severe tariffs put in place against trading partners for Russia with things like oil and gas. Some of the countries who would be most hit by that are China and India and Brazil. So President Trump once again putting that big push out there to find some sort of ceasefire that could bring an end to the war in Europe. President Trump saying during that long press conference, bringing up how he's spoken to Russian leader Vladimir Putin in the past, and how he has a good relationship with him. But he's spoken about it before, how he speaks over the phone with Putin from time to time and feels, progress is being made on a ceasefire. And then maybe a few hours later, he sees fresh attacks. That's sort of been the script recently. And that frustration, obviously, very much building it right now. And President Trump saying that the war should be settled, and one deal that continues to linger, or lack of a deal thereof, is the one that would bring an end to the war in Ukraine. So President Trump saying he's very disappointed with Vladimir Putin, and he hopes that some sort of deal can be reached in 10 to 12 days, or severe sanctions would be handed down. Then also my last point that I have written down here, Marni, is trade. Obviously, that was a very big backdrop of this meeting with the United Kingdom Prime Minister. President Trump fresh off the heels of a massive deal with the European Union on tariffs. President Trump saying that's one of the biggest trade deals ever. So he's using this sort of as a victory lap to speak with the United Kingdom Prime Minister about that trade deal with the United Kingdom, as well as fresh off the heels of that big trade deal with the European Union. But then also worthy of noting, too, is that Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, his team is meeting with a team from China to work on a framework of a deal regarding tariffs. So there's a lot of developments on that front of trade right now. That August 1st deadline very much looming right now, days away from that, and the need for countries to make a deal with the United States very much growing right now, Marni.
Yeah, so many businesses and American consumers watching that closely. Tom, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.